What is going on, guys? My name is A8 Reviews. Right next to me is the 2019 Audi Q8. And actually, believe it or not, this Audi here is actually based on the Lamborghini Urus. Yes, you heard that right. Lamborghini's first ever sports utility vehicle spun off into this. And let me tell you, it's a good one. So first off, I would love to give a very huge shout out to Autohaus Lancaster and Lancaster Audi for actually allowing me to come out and review the Q8 here before I head back to my college this weekend. So give a very huge shout out to them. Inventory down below, as well as the two that had actually helped me, Colin and Wray. I will also put their contact information down below. So if you guys live in the Lancaster area and you guys are looking to buy a new Audi, go ahead and talk with them and they'll get you set up. About the Q8. Like I said, this is kind of a spin-off of the Lamborghini Urus because the Urus and the Q8 are on the same exact platform. Now you might think that the Q8 has 3 rows of seats because the Q7 has 3 rows. Incorrect. The Q8 only has 2 rows of seating because of the sloping roofline that it gets compared to the Q7. And it also gets its own unique styling, which honestly, the styling is definitely one of the standouts of this car here because it's mean, macho, and it commands your attention. So now let's go ahead and let's review this sucker because I'm really excited to review it for you guys. So guys, models of the Q8. Well, there's 3 of them. This one here is the premium trim that starts at $67,400. That's what this one is that I'm standing right next to. Then you could jump up to the premium plus and that will cost you $71,400. And then finally you hit the prestige trim, the highest, most top of the line trim you can get of the Q8. And that will set you back $76,550. There's also talk of an SQ8 coming and maybe an RSQ8, which I would actually like to see them bring out an RSQ8 with the V8, which I think would be absolutely awesome to see. So guys, let's start off with the front end of the new Q8. Here we got full LED headlights. I believe that matrices might actually be available for this car. I'm not exactly sure. I will have to let you guys know. But you got an LED turn signal, and what I really like about it is that there's this little black plastic piece here that comes and separates the 2 headlight housings here. And it comes right in front of the turn signal, but the turn signal light just continues through. So I really like that touch. Also, you think that this might just be a piece of plastic there for no reason. This is actually the high beams right here, which I find really nice. Over here, you got a little air, you have a fake inlet here, but this inlet here is functional. You got that huge Audi grille. And personally, I don't see the adaptive cruise control sensors. I think they might have hidden them really well. But you can also see this also comes standard with Quattro 4-wheel drive. So you got that little badge in there. You got front parking sensors. Overall, I really love the front end of the Q8. It really is dynamic and it stands out quite a bit. I know a lot of people hate this big grille, but personally, I think it personifies the actual size of the vehicle and how big of a car this really is. So let's go ahead and take a look at the side view now. So at 196 inches long, the Q8 is actually 3.6 inches shorter than the larger Q7. So with that being said, they had to chop off the third row. But first off, you could easily see that this is definitely an Audi. You can see these very sharp and very creased body lines. There's one that goes here and it fades into the body, as well as one that comes through here and goes all the way back here, and one that really defines this wide rear fender. Honestly, the side view is really nice. On this model, you get an LED turn signal here as well, and it's also power folding and it's also heated. So it's nice that Audi decided to include that. This one here has aluminum accented roof rails, which I think is a very nice touch. And this model here has the optional 21-inch wheels that are wrapped in 285/45 tires. You can get a base 20 with, I believe, 255 or 265 series tires. And honestly, I really like the wheel design, although I do prefer the ones on the blue one that that is in stock over here. But I think that honestly these silver colored wheels go nice with the body. One thing you don't see on the Q8 very much is body cladding. You don't see too much plastic parts. This piece right here, it's colored with the body. See that piece here? It's colored with the body. Honestly, I think that's a nice touch and it makes it look a lot more premium. But there's one thing I do have to say, that the Q8 is not very good with off-roading. 5.8 inches of ground clearance, guys. It's pretty down low to the ground. Honestly, I think they should have jacked it up a little bit. I think that this can also come with air suspension, so that'll help. I don't think this model's equipped with it. I think the Prestige trim gets the air suspension only. But, I mean, the side view of this Q8 is very nice. I also forgot to mention, you've got frameless windows here, which is very nice. And I believe these doors might actually be motor assisted for you guys, so you guys will have to kind of let on the handle and wait for a couple seconds, because I think it might be motor assisted. I will let you guys know that though. But definitely, I love the side view of the Q8. It's got so much stance and so much pounce to it that it literally just stands out from the crowd. Now let's go ahead and take a look at the rear. So guys, coming around back of the new Q8, you can see that this definitely takes a lot of departure from the Q7, which this car is pretty much based on. So like I said, again, it is 3.5 inches shorter than the Q7, and it doesn't have the third row, but it gets its own unique styling. You see, there's a sequential turn signal over there. Audis have been absolutely known for that, and I absolutely love it. And personally, I think the sequential turn signals should be a standard option across every single car, because it definitely adds a lot of more visual interest and kind of gets you to, you know, hey, this is a Audi. That's really cool. I really love the taillight design. But there's one thing I do have to mention to you guys. Why does the sequential turn signal light up here, but these light up? That's because Audi does not meet a certain requirement for a certain amount of area that the taillight has to actually enlight when you put your turn signal on. So they actually have to put these here as well to meet that standard. What I really love about the Q8 is that there's 12 different little sections here, and they all light up, and I think that's a really nice touch. And Audi also joins the trend of a light bar. And I also like that these lights are actually really 3D, and this light bar comes around and wraps while the actual taillight wraps in here, so it kind of looks like it's got a fake inlet there, but that's definitely a very nice touch, and I really like that. You got this black piece here that also has the Audi logo, which is absolutely enormous. Quattro all-wheel drive, as well as the Q8 badge. You got your reflectors down here, and Audi joins again, yet again, the trend of the fake exhaust tips. Audi, I really wish you would just put real exhaust tips, because honestly, that kind of setup with a real exhaust tip would look really nice. The actual exhaust tip is located right under here, and there's also another one under there. And also you got this kind of fake little faux diffuser, as well as a plastic body cladding to make this thing look a little bit more rugged and off-road. And also one thing I didn't mention in the side view is that this actual rear hatch is not sloped very much. I'm really surprised that Audi didn't decide to, you know, make this thing look a lot more coupe-like, like the GLE. But honestly, I really like the Q8 now more than the GLE Coupe, because the GLE Coupe, it literally is like the B-pillar and it starts sloping. This, it's like the B-pillar, it slopes a little bit, then it gets to the C-pillar where it kind of slopes a little bit more, and then once you get back here, it slopes really far. Although that's going to impact your actual cargo space, I do believe that Audi did a very nice job styling this thing. So, now that we're done with the exterior overlook, let's go ahead and let's go talk about the interior, because this is where Audi really sets themselves apart from the competition. So guys, first off, I'm going to show you this a little bit. On the Q8s, first off, I really love the little sound, the little tink it makes when you hit the lock button. It honestly sounds like it's actually from a little video game like Tetris or something like that. But on the higher up trims, when you have the unlock button and the matrix headlights, I'm not sure if this actually comes with it. Here is the Audi Keyfob. It's a very nice feeling key. It's got gloss black plastic, which is not my preference because I can scratch up very easily, but it feels very premium. It's kind of small, to be honest. I wish it was just a tiny bit bigger, but I'm kind of nitpicking. It still feels extremely nice, guys. So here on this Keyfob, you got your normal lock button as well as your unlock button and the double push to actually release the tailgate. But this is keyless entry as standard equipment, which is expected. So you can put your key fob in your pocket and walk up to the door. There's this little tiny inlet portion here. Press it and it'll lock it, and it'll also do that chirp. Audi does a sensor behind the actual door handle. And also, you guys, when you actually open this thing, you guys actually want to actually pull on it and wait a second, because this also has frameless windows. And also, something I don't ever mention in my reviews, these windows are actually really thick, but they're single pane, which I think is okay. I don't know if the higher trims come with the you know, the double pane acoustics, but look at this crazy ass interior, guys. This thing is technology haven, and it seriously is German. So stepping inside, you can see the little plate here. Stepping inside, the Q8's actually got a really nice step in height. Even though it sits low to the ground because of 5.8 inches of ground clearance, it kind of almost feels like a car, to be honest. But then, shutting the door, I have never heard such a solid sounding door. Listen to this again, guys. I have to do that again. It sounds good, even if you slam it. It sounds good. But let's go ahead and let's start up the car. The actual start button is located right here. Put your foot on the brake, make sure you have the key fob, and then push the starter button. First off, I really do actually like that little welcome sound. It sounds pretty cool. It's definitely a nice touch. Guys, when you first step into the Q8, and sorry, the air conditioning is blowing, you will see this 12.3-inch Audi virtual cockpit. Guys, this is so highly rated because literally, here's your controls for that system right here. Click your view to actually make the map smaller and make the gauges here bigger. or you can click it again and it'll downsize it. You go through many options, as well as like fuel economy and your driver assistance and traffic signs, energy consuming, which the air conditioning is kind of weird. So that kind of now proves my point that actually the air conditioning does bother with the fuel economy. You got your long-term and short-term memory. I'm surprised they didn't decide to just name it Trip A and Trip B, but it is what it is. Also, you got your consumption meter with a little battery indicator, because this thing is a mild hybrid vehicle. So we'll definitely go over that in a little bit when we get to the actual powertrain video and the engine and such. But coming over here, you got your Bluetooth loading source right now. So you can see here that you can also come through here and see your phone calls, as well as go through the navigation. You can come through here, and you can also, what's also a nice touch is that actually this thing is super responsive. Literally, as I scroll this reel, just one little hit, it probably only takes like a quarter of a second for it to scroll in. And if you just keep doing it, it's just, oh my goodness. Audi, you guys really make a damn good freaking system here. This is absolutely insane. But you have a little digital gauge here for your engine temperature as well as your fuel. But this is all digital, guys, and I think that's really nice. But you also have a little row of buttons up here, which I think if you turn your, you know, but you have a little bank of lights up here, which is okay. Coming over here, you got your 10.1-inch Audi MMI Connect interface with navigation, and it's also got haptic feedback, which I think is really cool. So as you tap on something, the actual screen vibrates. But one thing you do have to get used to if you're new to an Audi, you're gonna have to press the screen just a little bit harder, because if you try just tapping the normal screen like this, it's not gonna do anything. You actually have to really press on it pretty good to actually get it to do something. But this is a super responsive touchscreen. And yes, it's always gonna literally do all that for you. But as I run around here with my finger, it's very responsive. You got pinch to zoom. It doesn't turn yourself if you do that. But it's a very good system. The actual audio system in here is a 10-speaker audio system. It's not premium, but I will say that the audio system in this thing sounds absolutely incredible. I've been playing my stereo system test playlist on Spotify in this car, and I tuned it for a good bass and decent treble. And one thing's for sure, this thing definitely kicks ass with the speakers. But coming down here is where the most criticism comes from every single Audi and all these new cars and such that adopt these kinds of screens. This is actually a touch screen that controls the climate system, as well as turning on your auto start stop, your hill descent control, your little tabs here that you can go through here. You can also program your garage door opener, and you can also turn the top screen off. You got 3-zone climate control. And also, what's a very nice touch is that you can literally just set the auto for the passenger, which I think is really nice. And you can also turn that off. You got heated seats on this model. I wish that these came with either ventilated or cooled seats, but then again, that comes up on the higher models. But like I said, you got dual zone climate control. What I think is pretty cool is that you can actually independently adjust everything. So if your passenger doesn't want the air conditioning blowing on his face, he can turn that off. If he doesn't want it at all, he can just, it'll just kind of shut off, I think. It shuts off, but he can also turn it back on again. Down here, you got your drive select, so you can go through comfort. So your first mode is gonna be off-road. Then you got comfort, auto, dynamic, and then individual, which you can go in and adjust everything from the drive to the suspension to the steering. I have the drive in sport mode. I also have the suspension in comfortable, and I'm actually gonna put the steering into sport mode, because honestly, I tried the sport mode and it's nice. This touchscreen is actually really responsive. So as I select, watch this. Watch the car moving up. I'm going to show you guys that again. It's really nice and it's really snappy. Here you got your traction control off button, as well as your hazard lights, which I think is a very nice touch, and it also lights up, which I think is cool. There's your front defroster as well as your rear defogger. Again, start-stop button. It's rear aluminum start-stop button. Here's your parking sensors button with your. I don't know if this thing actually comes with 360-degree cameras. That's one thing for sure. But you can see that this backup camera has trajectory. It's not the best quality. I think it should be better. But I think that honestly it's good enough. You can see, I can see my GoPro tripod there. It also comes on when you throw it into reverse, and it also stays on even if you put it into drive. But here you got front and rear parking sensors, so if it detects that you're gonna run into something and it sees a wall behind you, it's gonna yell at you. But let's jump out of there. Coming down, forgot to mention, here is the audio control for the entertainment system. You can also press it to turn it off, and you can also click it to the left and to the right to actually select a song, which I think is pretty cool. So they used it as not just the volume button, but the track forward and backward button. Coming over here, here is the transmission selector for the 8-speed Tiptronic automatic transmission. Personally, when I first got into this thing, I did not like this thing at all. I did not like the transmission, but after playing with it for a little bit, it got pretty useful. So your park is right here. Your parking brake does not come on automatically, which I wish it did. But to get it into drive, you just click on that button and you just completely click it over. For some unknown reason, it clicked into drive. To get into sport mode, you just click over to this way, and you can also slide over to the side to actually select your gear, push up to upshift and down to downshift. Excuse me. Click it back over. To go back into neutral, you just push the button and click up once. You can also go into reverse by doing the same thing. And then you can also, this thing is odd to operate, but to get it back into drive, just pull on it twice and then it's back to drive. And like I said, this isn't drive, so the camera will still stay on for you guys. You can push that. Electronic parking brake. You got a little bit of a storage cubby right here. I also forgot to mention these cup holders too. They are pretty good sized. They fit my little Contigo water bottle here. Also, there's a 12 volt here, and there's also a nice little cubby right beside that where you can actually store your key. And I think that's a very nice little quirk. That's very nice, personally. Oh, interior materials. It is very soft touch up here. You got this gloss black plastic, which will scratch easily, guys, so make sure you guys take care of that. You got this kind of, I guess it's like a wood ash trim or something like that. Coming over here to the glove box, it's actually soft padded. It doesn't have very much padding, but it does feel nice. The actual glove box is absolutely enormous, guys. Look at the size of this. I don't know how well it's showing up on camera, but this is literally all the stuff that comes with the Q8 when you buy it brand new, and it's literally like not even taking up like an inch. It's damped, extremely damped, and it's also lined with felt, which is very nice. Coming over through here at the door panel, it's also soft touch here, soft touch here, soft touch there. You got auto up down windows for all four windows, guys, which I think is a very nice touch. An odd quirk about this thing is that actually, here is the mirror control, okay? Watch this. You might be wondering, how did I do that? Well, guys, look at this. All you do is click once and you click again to turn it, and it will fold the mirrors. Then you can also click it back over again to actually turn the heated mirrors on, but I'm not gonna do that because it's absolutely wicked hot outside. You got your aluminum accented door handle, lock and unlock, as well as your 2-person memory. Here's your headlamp control. You just click on it to see everything, and I like that it actually comes up in the actual screen here. You also got your front all-weather lights, which I think is kind of strange. But here you got an air vent. Getting into the back of the Q8, it's also got the same little door sensor here as well. And first off, you can definitely see that there's quite a bit of room back there. So getting in, again, it's super easy to get in. The door is very, very wide. Also, one thing I do have to mention, guys, make sure you watch your door, okay? Because literally, you can easily smack it on the car next to you because these doors are so big. Shutting it, it still is the best sounding door I've ever heard. I also think that these are actually electronically releasing because I'm pulling on this. It is actually electronically releasing. That I think is nice. But there's one thing we got to figure out. Does this thing go all the way down? Is that all? Wow. So it fails the test, guys. Personally, I wish that it went down a little bit more, but it could also be because of the window design. One odd quirk, you got a little ashtray in here. Or a little coin slot, which I think is kind of odd. I'm not sure why Audi decided to put that there. But interior materials, it's soft touch here. I actually think it's a little bit harder touch compared to the front, but it still feels premium. Soft touch here, soft touch here. You got your same kind of, you have your, I don't know if I want to call it hard touch with like a little bit of a more premium feeling material, but I'm just gonna call it hard touch with a bit more premium material. It still feels very nice. You got a little cubby in here. It's kind of small, but it is what it is. Strangely enough, there's an air vent right here. Honestly, I really like that. I like when cars do that with the air vents, that they actually put them there. I don't know why, honestly, Audi puts a lock button here. And I like that it actually lights up. But it's also a rocker switch, which I think is cool, but you can't push on it to go backwards, which is pretty dummy proof. But like I said, I am 6'2". Look at the loads of room I have. I probably have about like 8 to 10 inches of legroom. In addition, these seats can slide forward and backward, and they're also 60/40 folding. This is all the way back, all the way up, still sitting behind myself. I can still fit myself in here, and I probably have about an inch or two of legroom left. Guys, that's absolutely amazing. Back here you get 2 more air vents. This is also, it's a very nice, it's hard touch, but it feels very nice. So I applaud Audi for actually making some premium hard plastic choices here. The backs of the seats, they're also kind of this hard touch material, but it's actually, it feels a lot more premium than the hard touches that are found throughout the cabin. Well, barely found throughout the cabin. You have 3 level heated seats in the back, and you also have a climate control back here as well. So if your front passengers absolutely want to roast, or if your front passengers absolutely want to be super cold and you want to be nice and cozy, you can honestly do that. I honestly think that the actual system should be a little bit quicker, but I'm nitpicking. Here you got cup holders, which kind of are in this weird delivery system where you just push that button and it's there. It comes back to fold in. The seats are very nice. They are super comfortable. These also recline by a little lever just right here. But one thing I do have to say is that they don't recline very much, but really not very many cars do that, recline very far. So I think that honestly Audi should have actually put or made this actually recline a little bit more. But like I said, and multiple times in the video, I'm nitpicking. But coming over here, center seat, there's a hump here, but if I put my feet up on it, I'm still pretty comfortable. I mean, I got an awkward angle, but it's quite a wide transmission hump here. But you still have plenty of foot space. For my size 12s, I'm just barely touching the little seat rails here that attach, but I definitely think that the Q8 will definitely fit 3 adults back here. But there's one thing I do have to say, it is very tight on headroom in the center seat. But if I move back over to the side seat here, I still have about an inch of headroom. It might be just a little bit less, I still have about an inch of headroom, but it could be a little bit less, you know. It could be a little bit less because I can't see it, but it's nice that Audi didn't decide to actually cheap out. Although I gotta say the LED lights just come right on. The ones up front dim on and off, but I'm gonna still give Audi credit because they didn't cheap out with the interior lighting. Also, you got a little hook here, which I'm not sure. Oh, that's a little flap in there. You also got another coat hook, and you also got another coat hook in here. And honestly, that's kind of a little bit overkill, but it is what it is. But anyway, let's go ahead and let's go jump into the third row. Guys, let's go ahead and jump into the cargo area, not the third row because this thing doesn't have it, but let's go ahead and let's go jump back there and tell you guys about how much room is back there. The one really big negative I have to say about this thing is that even though it is a power tailgate, if I hit it with the key, I still actually have to come up and hit the latch a second time to actually get the thing to open. Honestly, it should just come straight open, but also another downfall. I hit the button again. This is only a trunk release. Honestly, Audi, why didn't you guys just put the tailgate, why didn't you guys just make the tailgate go up and down? That's honestly a little bit of an inconvenience, and definitely that's my most negative point about this car, but you know, you gotta cost cut some places. But anyway, opening the cargo area up, you actually got a pretty voluminous 30.5 cubic foot. That's actually excellent for the class. But like I said, the Q8 ditches the third row because there's pretty much not going to be enough room because of that huge rear window. And also, I also have to mention, this cargo shade is removable somehow. It's quite a bit of a faff to get out, but you just pull on these little anchors here on the side, right here, in order to do that. And also, this is also odd. This is a little bit of a loose cover, which I think is kind of weird. And I'm sorry about wind noise if that's coming through on the camera, but there's also another negative. You can't store this thing. So, I'm just gonna toss it to the side there. I mentioned 60-40 folding seats in the back. It's actually 40-20-40, so I apologize for that. You can fold the center seat down, but I'm gonna throw the head restraint down. If you need a ski pass through but still need to carry 4 passengers, you guys can do that. But then once you do that, I'm gonna climb in the back here for just a sake, and ow, I just hit my head on the low roof line. These seats don't sit completely flush. It has quite a bit of an angle, but still you get 60.5 cubic foot of storage. That's quite a bit of space for a coupe SUV. That's really good. But you got an extra little storage cubby there with the 12-volt port, and you also got a cubby here. And on both sides, you actually have LED lighting. So I think that's very nice that Audi didn't decide to just put halos in there and incandescents and such. But you also got 4 tie-down hooks. And Audi, I know you guys like your fake exhaust tips. Let's see if they got a donut down there. Oh my goodness. It's a space saver spare wheel. And oh my gosh, that tire tread is small. But guys, they put a space saver spare wheel, guys, in this thing. Good job, Audi. Not very many car manufacturers are doing that. But also, there's not too much storage in the back here. You could probably put some loose odds and ends over here. But, you know, I'm really glad that Audi decided to actually put a spare wheel in this thing, because that definitely makes this thing a lot more useful, and it's definitely a lot better than Mercedes, because I know some of them actually use a fix-a-flat kit or require you to actually go to roadside assistance. But I also need to mention the load lip, there's very little of a load lip. There's just a tiny lip. And it's also aluminum accented, so if you are scratching or if you got a really heavy suitcase or something of the sort, you could just kind of bash it against it and not have to worry about it. Also with the trunk here, you can also lock it and you can also close it. But still, I do wish that Audi would have actually decided to actually let the tailgate completely open rather than unlatching it and requiring you to put your stuff down if you got really heavy stuff and open it with the latch. So guys, getting under the hood of the new Q8, you only have to pull the hood latch once, which I think is pretty nice. But opening the hood up, it's nice that it's hydraulic. Right here you see the only engine choice for the Q8. This is a 3-liter turbocharged V6, surprisingly not a supercharged out of the Q7, but this is also a mild hybrid vehicle. Yes, you heard that right. Guys, it is a mild hybrid. It cannot actually run itself on electric power, I believe, but it pretty much just helps out smoothing out the auto start stop system and so on and so forth. So specs on this thing: 335 horsepower between 5,200 to 6,400 RPM, which that's an awfully wide horsepower band, as well as 369 pound-foot of torque from 1,370 RPM to 4,500. The Q8 is only available with quattro all-wheel drive. You cannot get front-wheel drive or rear-wheel drive. None of those exist in this thing. But I definitely think that the quattro all-wheel drive will be a very, very sporty handling vehicle. The only transmission hooked up to this thing is an 8-speed Tiptronic automatic. I'm not sure if this thing is actually dual clutch or not, but I will definitely let you guys know. Fuel economy is for this thing. 17 city, 22 highway, and it's also got a curb weight of 4,800 pounds. So it's actually a pretty decently hefty SUV. It's only a few, it's actually a little bit lighter than the Mercedes-Benz GLE, the new one. So definitely that should equate to a lot better performance. Now, I know that there's an SQ8 coming. That should maybe get the 2.9 twin turbo V6 or the V8 model that you can find in the S6 and S7 and S8 and all that. But I would, again, like to see the RS Q8 with at least like 700 horsepower, because that would definitely be one hell of an SUV to drive and launch and all that sorts of stuff. So we got to talk about safety now, because that's what the Q8 is all about. So guys, what do I think about this Q8? Well, generally it is missing a little bit of technology, but it definitely makes up because this thing is absolutely loaded with it. It might have a little bit less safety than Mercedes, but I definitely love all the technology. And personally, I actually like this thing a lot better than the Mercedes GLE that I reviewed just a little bit ago. So personally, out of my rating scale, personally, I would actually lease this thing, because although it's really loaded to the gills on safety and technology, I do think there are some better competitors out there, but this Q8 definitely makes up with the driving experience and all the technology. I mean, I love this Q8 actually. So guys, if you're really looking to buy a large SUV that's kind of coupey, personally, I would actually go with the Q8 because it looks a lot better than the new GLE Coupe, which kind of looks a little bit ugly. And definitely the Q8 is one of the all-time favorite cars I've ever reviewed. So, guys, thank you for watching this review on the Audi Q8. Guys, make sure you like, comment, share, and subscribe. And also, Tap or click that notification bell so you guys can join me in following the automotive industry one revolution at a time.